Hello, welcome to my live. Today is Saturday, the 2nd of August, and it's 5 to 10 a.m. UK time. And so it's a very unusual time for me to go live, which is why I didn't schedule it because I didn't know I would do it. But I have a little bit of time, so I decided to try and go at it and see what happens. And so I always leave my live for people to replay them, and I always start them by reading and commenting on the posts that I put out on TikTok and YouTube. And hopefully, by the time I'm done with that, and that's the real purpose of my live streams, there will be some people around asking me some questions about themselves, because this is what I do. I'm a therapist and coach, and I do my best to come during my free times on both TikTok and YouTube to give some advice, some suggestions, some recommendations based on my experience as a therapist to do with anything to do with the mind. And so basically, I talk about psychology, therapy, human behavior, relationships, mindset, mindfulness, anything to do with depression, anxiety, mental health, addiction, self-sabotage, anger issues, and pretty much anything that we can do to enhance any aspect of our life. Because any aspect of our life are all down to how we perceive ourselves in this life. And so really what we want to do is to realize that if we want to change an aspect of our life, we only want to change how we see ourselves. The reality that we experience is a reality that we have created based on our sense of self, based on our sense of identity. And so instead of trying to struggle with life, all we have to do is to become the person that can deal with that situation. And as we become that person who can deal with that situation, then it becomes easy for us to deal with that situation. I hope it makes sense. Okay, let me get started. The first post that I will read today goes like this. It is not you and your life. There's no separation. You are not just a body that is alive. You are life experiencing itself through your body. And so this is to basically highlight the idea that we tend to think of ourselves like separate from the universe, from reality, from everything else. And this is a bit of spirituality for you. But if we can realize that we are an experience and look at ourselves like that, we don't need to be confined by the limitations of our ego that comes with a tons of hurts and limiting belief. And things can be much more poetic and easier. It was a little bit of a different perspective for you to get started with. The next post is more about therapy, and it goes like this. The ultimate stage of healing is being able to love the people who have not healed. And so this is very important to realize not all of us will get there. But if we can love people who are troublesome, who are problematic, and even more so the people who have hurt us, then that's when we know that we have fully healed. Because the reason why we find it difficult to forgive some people in our past is because there's a part of us that still believes that they still could hurt us. And so it's the fear that it may happen again that is preventing us from forgiving them. If we can really feel at peace and know that it's never going to happen, we know who we are, we have changed. And so now we're in a position of being able to help, to forgive them. And if we can forgive them, then we can forgive everyone else. By them, I mean our bullies, people who traumatized us, people who hurt us, people who neglected us. Finally, the third post that I want to read about today goes like this. Remember that you can love people from afar without having to see them or interact with them. And this is for anyone who had problematic family, dysfunctional families, difficult upbringing, narcissistic parents, perhaps. Sometimes it's easier to create a space between us and them, and we feel that we're missing out on something, but we can still love them. We just need to make sure that we keep our boundaries solid, and this is it. Love is a feeling that we experience, and it doesn't have to be necessarily shared by someone. When we can, it's a good thing, but it's not exclusive to doing it with someone. So different perspective. So I can see that there's just a little handful of people there. Josiah Lawrence, hello. Didi, hello Josiah. Someone that I know, fantastic. Is there anything you'd like me to talk about today? I can get started with some thoughts that I had this morning. But really, again, I want to make sure that people realize that I do this to take questions, to talk about you, guys. But I was talking about how everything about life is down to how we see ourselves in this life. And so to change an aspect of our life, could it be if we want to heal or to grow and expand, it doesn't matter. Healing and growth is the same. Momentum is just the perspective at which we're looking at it from. Healing is coming from a place of pain to non-pain. And growth is just expanding our perspectives. But it's all the same journey, really. Once we have healed, then we continue on to growth. And we can't grow until we have healed. No, it's not. We can grow. We will grow through the trauma, but there's only so much that we can experience in terms of perspective until we have let go of the hurt from the past, because the hurt narrows our mind and our potential. But anyway, where was I? To expand any quality of our life, we must expand ourselves. That's what I was trying to say. I think some people call it identity shifting, and some people also use the idea of the higher self. So again, if you are spiritual, you may believe that you have a version of you that is your higher self. And so we have often a voice in our head for the vast majority of us. And what we want to do is, when we are overwhelmed by a situation, we can talk to our higher self and ask that higher self, what would my higher version of self recommend me to do? Instead of allowing for the voice that is always there, the habitual inner critic that is always putting us down, telling us that we are not enough, that we shouldn't even try. And so instead of allowing for the automatic program to keep on belittling us, putting us down and disempowering us, if you could just ask the higher self instead, what would the best version of myself recommend me? Now that's the start. And then next, we can become that person that we have to become in order to deal with that situation. And so based on that recommendation, now we have information that can help us transform. We transform, we change, we evolve every day anyway. So we might as well evolve and transform in the direction we want to transform to, which is the direction that will get us to become the person that can have the things that we want to have, that can deal with the things that we're dealing with, that can overcome any problems that we have been suffering from up to this point. So that's it. I hope it makes sense. Okay, I've got some comment from Josiah. Let's see. Josiah, hi Didi, is love a feeling or a decision? Love is many things. Everything is many things. There's no such thing as just one universal definition. It depends. It depends on the context. It depends on how useful you want it to be to you. And so love, but just based on how you framed it, is the feeling or a decision. It is both. Love is an energy. It's something that we experience, something that we feel, but also it's something that we can choose, not always, but sometimes we can choose love over reaction, over hate, over hatred. But it depends, because it depends on our emotional setup. There's a lot of parameters to take into action, to take into on board. I'm a bit troubled because this helicopter is taking my mind away. Let's come back here. London. So, what was I? Yes, love is just like any emotion. We feel things. And all emotions are programs that are subconscious, that are created in our childhood. So everything that we're going to go through in childhood are going to get us to create a program that is subconscious and emotional. And what it means is that whatever we're going to go through in life are going to trigger some emotions in our body. Whatever we see, whatever we hear, whatever we think of, whatever we feel in our body, the triggers are external and internal. And that's why we react to things and we feel fear, we feel joy when we see things that are joyous, and so on and so forth. And the process is that first we feel, and next we think. The cognitive aspect of our experience comes after the original emotion. And this is a big confusion and a lot of resistance from a lot of people, because many of us, we believe that we are in charge, we're in control, we're rational, we're intelligent. But the reality of us is that 95% of the time we're emotional, we operate on an automatic pilot. We have no say, no input about that, there's no free will. And so we feel something, then we're going to create a narrative on the top of that to kind of justify, explain, expand in words and in concept, intellectual concept, what that emotion means. And so from that perspective, the emotion of love is not something that we choose. However, we can also choose thoughts when we are not caught into the when we are not on autopilot. That's some moments when we can choose to have a free will. And so typically that happens when we are slowing down, when we are no longer caught in the momentum, when we're looking inward. As long as we're reacting to the world outside, as long as we're operating, functioning, going through our life, we are on autopilot. And this is what the pilot is about, is to get us to get moving around, to talk with people, to interact with the world. But if we can slow down, stop, reflect, look inward, that's when we can actually change the program. So we can do it through meditation, through mindfulness practice over time, through a lot of self-awareness, inner self-awareness work. Learning how to pay attention to our emotions or feelings, learning how to let go of the trends of thought, so we can create a space where we can invite some new thoughts. And so in this moment, we can choose things. So we can choose it's not that we choose love, we choose to change our program. So if our program is fear-based, reactivity-based, cruelty-based, which is what most of us are in this society, we're all very mean to others, and we're mean to ourselves. This is the truth, everyone, all the time, including myself. I'm working on it, I've been working on it for a long time now, and I've changed a lot. But we are all conditioned to be mean to other people and to ourselves all the time. It's just the habit. It doesn't have to be like that, but we have been conditioned because our parents were like that, because our teachers were like that, because society shows us that this is the standard, the normality that everyone's have accepted. And so this is how we are going to deal with people and ourselves. But if we can reflect every now and then and decide, this happened, I don't want this to happen again, I want to become that person instead, now we're changing the program. And then the next time that we're going to be on automatic pilot, we will have then the choice of love. I hope it makes sense. We don't choose anything else than what the program allows us to choose. We believe that we have free will, that we have choices, but even the choices that we take are limited by the automatic program that is emotional. But we can, every now and then, upgrade the program so that the next times we are facing the situations, now we have broader choice to tap in. I hope it makes sense. Does it, Josiah? Josiah, this is about how we love difficult, unhealed people. The feeling they give us are not positive. This is a big issue. Okay, let me try to understand this. This is about how we love difficult, unhealed people. We don't have to. We do what we can. You can either love them. If you force yourself to love someone, it's not love. Love is an energy that is what it is. You can't force love. Just like you can't force happiness. You can't force healing. You can't force positivity. You can either do it or not. And whether you can do it or not depends on your stage of readiness based on where you are in your healing journey. And so if you find it difficult to love difficult or unhealed people, then it means that you're not there. Don't do this. Focus on yourself. You don't have to love unhealed people. What you have to do is to learn how to love yourself. This is your only one priority. And as you learn how to love yourself more, you will learn how to forgive some part of yourself. You will learn how to accept some parts of yourself that you are ashamed of. And as you do more and more of this, you'll be able to also forgive them and accept them despite everything. Because then you will realize that the problem is never the people. The problem is our actions, or words, or behavior, but all down to our program that is passed on generationally first, through our genes, through the upbringing by our parents, but also through exposure to environment. The first. Matt, could you get the door, please? Okay, I think it's the postman. Close the door behind you, please. Thank you. Okay. So, so yes, when people are giving you feelings that are not positive, it's normal. You're just reacting to what they say, because it's still how you are meant to react to what those people would say to you. It's normal. So what you want to do is to change the program by changing the meaning. So you have to do a lot of work on ourselves. But there's one thing that you can do, and it may work or not, depending on where you are, is to work on the meanings that you give to the situations. We don't suffer from any situation. We suffer from the meanings that we give those situations. And so whatever they say to you, you want to find out, what does it mean to me? Why am I reacting to that? Why is it problematic to me? Some other people, they don't care, but it does to you. And so ask yourself, why is it affecting me? And then change that belief. So for me to be able to explain this, I need you to give me an example, please, because I'm a bit lost into my thoughts here, and I need some clarity. If you can give me some examples about the things that are difficult for you to deal with in regards to unhealed people, I would love to discuss this. Omnam, hi Didier. Oh, hello, Omnam. How are you doing, Omnam? Josiah, do you have ADHD? Yes, I do. The helicopter really distracted you. Yes. How do you deal with intrusive thoughts with ADHD? So yes, I do have ADHD, and my attention can get taken away. This is why I have an earplug. When I need to focus on things sometime, depending on my state, depending on how I feel in the morning, if I've slept well, if I'm feeling some pressure or tension of any sort, all of those things are going to affect my sensitivity to my environment. How do I deal with intrusive thoughts? So the way we deal with intrusive thoughts, and you are mentioning with people who have ADHD specifically, is to realize that thoughts are just thoughts, and we don't need to entertain them if we don't like to. We forget that thoughts are just information. It's like you walking, let's say, in a busy high street, and there's a lot of different shops outside, and they have different music. And every time that you walk past a shop, there's a different music. So you may hear some disco music, and the next moment some heavy metal, and the next moment some classical music or some jazz or whatever. And so whenever you walk around, you hear different things because they're there. But those thoughts don't originate from you. Remember what I said at the beginning. We are all functioning on a subconscious program that is first emotional. And then once you have the emotion, the thought will come to kind of narrate, to put into words the emotions. And so they're just programs that comes here because of how we are meant to react to the world outside and to how we feel inside. And so if you can realize that thoughts are just thoughts, they're not true, they're not real, they don't necessarily mean anything, they can be anything at all, then it's easier for you to let go of certain thoughts by choosing other ones instead. So let me give an example. I'm feeling a bit clumsy this morning because of the noise. I'm a little bit still a bit tense, but hopefully I'll get better now. I can't put any thought in your mind. Let's say watermelon. I want you to think about a watermelon. Think about a big slice of watermelon, and just like that, I put a watermelon in your mind. It's a thought that I have chosen to put into your mind. You didn't choose it, it just happened. But you don't have to keep it. You don't have to think about the watermelon all day long. Right? You can choose, okay, that was fun, but I'm going to move on with my life and think about other stuff now. It's the same thing with intrusive thoughts. Intrusive thoughts, they are just thoughts. And the reason why we can't get rid of them is because there's a part of us that believes that those thoughts are very important. They are protecting me. They're urgent. I must entertain them. And so this is that first thing we must be aware of. And the reason I'm saying this is because for any problems, there are a lot of different levels of intensity. So depending on the individual, this could be enough to get people to start choosing better thoughts. if you can realize that that thought is not that important. I'm thinking this because I'm used to that, it's just a habit. Instead, I'm going to choose thoughts that are to do with the things that I'm doing, that I enjoy, that are things that I must focus on today. Now you're into something else. You are creating a different story in your head, and you're going to feel better about yourself. Now, this is superficial. For those who have really, really bad intrusive thoughts because they also have had trauma and other conditions, it's not just happening there. It's emotional. Again, the reason why we have some thoughts that we can't get rid of is because there's a part of us that believe that those thoughts are needed, they're important, they're special. And specialness comes from the emotional intensity attached to them. So when you have a thought that is to do with fear, with protection, it's going to be always back into your head because the emotional energy is of survival, protection. And so you want to address this from your emotional mind's perspective. I'm trying to think about how to talk about it because I've got a lot of different thoughts and conversations in my head with different people as well. Really, there's not such thing as one solution. I'm just talking about it at a general level because your question is general. But I would love to be more specific if you can give me a more specific idea of what intrusive thoughts we're talking about. If you can share this with me, we can delve into that in greater depth. There are different levels of intrusive thoughts. Some intrusive thoughts can be really, really uncomfortable and problematic. And typically people who have anxiety, high level of anxiety and OCD suffer from those intrusive thoughts. So that's another level. Intrusive thought can also be a glitch in our brain and something that was meant to teach us, to warn us, to protect us, now is doing the opposite. And the reason behind this is because the brain proceeds by picture, images, information. It doesn't know how to process a negative. So this is very clumsy, but I just came up with that idea yesterday, and so I'm still learning how to deliver it in a way that is simple and concise. But essentially, if you tell your brain, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, because the brain cannot process the negative, all it will get is that. It's going to be much harder for that person to not do that. So let's say if I have an addiction to alcohol and I think, I don't want to drink, don't drink, it's bad to drink, it's forbidden, I shouldn't drink. All of that my brain is going to get is drink. And it's going to be so much harder for me. And I will drink because I didn't realize that I have hypnotized myself into drinking when I wanted not to. And so take this concept and move into the fact that our brain is telling us what we should do and what we shouldn't do. And so for instance, one intrusive thought that I used to have is when I was walking on a bridge, I would think, jump. And I don't want to jump. And I realized many years after that the intrusive thought came from a place of protection. Originally, my brain wants to tell me, don't jump, it's dangerous. But because there's been a glitch, maybe I was overwhelmed by anxiety and stress, then the don't was taken away. And I ended up with the jump. I hope it makes sense. And that's how sometimes intrusive thoughts can be very, very disturbing and seemingly coming out of nowhere and very harsh. It's increased by whatever conditions that we have, and also stress, overwhelm, and anxiety, and burnout, and all of those things. Depression. But originally, all the thoughts that we have are meant to protect us. But sometimes there's a glitch. And because the brain cannot process the negative, it cannot express itself in negative either. I hope it makes sense. And so that was one of the way I explain intrusive thoughts for people who have OCD, for instance. So for them, they must address the reasons as to why this glitch happened in the first place. And also address their habits of compulsions. But this is a whole different conversation. But yes, when you have intrusive thoughts, the helicopter is not an intrusive thought. The helicopter, in my case, is just that my attention was grabbed away. It's not an intrusive thought. An intrusive thought is a whole different conversation. I just want to highlight this, right? I want to make sure that we are not, that we're using the same definition. Intrusive thoughts is when we have some thoughts that we have not chosen, and we find it difficult for whatever reason to let go of them. Is that what you meant, Josiah? Cameron, is there any twerking with his performance? I can if you want, but I don't think it's going to help the channel very much. Josiah, how do I keep loving my sisters when they have been hurt by abusive father and now project some of that pain onto me because I remind them of him even though I've already healed? Okay, so that's a very specific question. You need to give your sisters some time and space, and you want not to rush them. You want to understand and remember that we're all on our journey. We're all different. We all have different level of sensitivity, different belief system, and so allow time to help. Show them that you are in a good place and you are wanting to help them. Your door is open to them whenever they want to, but don't try to change them. Don't try to give them advice. Don't try to force them to be anyone else than who they are, because you don't really understand necessarily. You may not know what they really think about you. When it comes to siblings, we all have our, again, we all operate from our little bubble, and we assume things that others may be thinking, and we forget that we're all vastly different. Siblings are highly competitive, and siblings all have a different perspective of one another because of that competitiveness. And so there's that also to take into consideration. And so if you say that you have healed, I'm happy for you. And I would just suggest you to enjoy yourself, show your sisters what it is to be healed. Don't try to teach them, don't try to force them. Just show them, teach them by showing them how you live your life. And then do tell them, I love you, I care about you, I'm open. I know that we've suffered from that, and also maybe we had some problems, and I'm happy to take accountability for everything. Because you may not realize that you may have done some things that may have hurt your sisters. A lot of things we don't realize that we do because it's just our normal. And so if you had an abusive parent, dad, it's possible that you have inherited some of his habits, and without realizing it, hurt your sisters. But to them, that would be, there's another one. Not only we have to deal with that, but now also the brother, life is so hard. And so make sure that you are open-minded, humble, patient, and take it easy and just show them how you live your life, and make sure that they know that if they're ready, if they want to talk to you, you would love to do this for them, right? But don't try to change them. We all have our own journey and timing and ways. Right? Does it help, Josiah? Black Cat said hi. Hello, Black Cat. Josiah, I understand saying don't picture a pink elephant in your head actually makes you focus on pink elephant. Yes, the negative actually draws strong attention. That's why kids should be given positive rules. It's not that the negative draws, it can. But it's just that whenever you say a word, it comes into your mind. So if I say pineapple, 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 you may have seen a pineapple in your head. Just like that. It is that simple. And now, if I say no pineapple, you probably still see a pineapple. Unless you're prepared. You say, now I'm going to think of anything but a pineapple, because you're prepared. So you're going to create a visual of darkness or whatever. You can say banana instead, something else. And so, but if you don't prepare yourself mentally beforehand, then whatever that people say will create a picture in your head. And that's why advertisers advertising can be so pervasive. They know that. When you have, so now we are in a different era, Netflix, YouTube, but people back then, when there was only television, a lot of advertisement. And that advertisement are always the same. They keep on coming back. Even, and this is the thing, even if you don't pay attention, if you're around having a drink, waiting for the program to resume, the advertisement is going to drill into your head, into your subconscious mind, creating all those pictures. And then the next time, without realizing why, you are at the supermarket, you end up putting some stuff in your basket because the advertisement has hypnotized you into doing so. But there's an element of sometimes the negative can reinforce indeed that, but it's not always. It's not that. The fact is that any thought, any pictures will be coming to your mind when it's expressed around you. Anyway, And and sometimes the negative also can reinforce that attention. It's possible, indeed. That's why kids should be given positive rules. So yes, so kids should be given, so instead of positive or negative, because positive or negative for a child doesn't really mean anything. They're just emotional. So it's about empowering or disempowering. It's about how we feel about it. And this is the secret when it comes to children, but also humans, people, grown up. If we can realize that we are creatures of emotions, and it's not about right or wrong, positive or negative. It's about what feels right or what feels wrong. It's about feeling, because we are creatures of emotions and feelings. And so when we are teaching kids, we want positive, as in feeling good, encouragement. So when we say positive encouragement, it's in terms of feeling. We want them to feel good about it, as opposed to punishment. And so if you teach a kid, you want to make sure that you understand the difference between the information and the feeling that you're going to add to it, or the emotion. So there's a difference between, don't do that, with anger, with sternness, with guilt tripping. Instead, you shouldn't do that, because if you do that, da, 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 da. But if you do that instead, you'll be rewarded because you've done something good. Now it's different. This is the secret with kids. It's all about learning how to dissociate or choosing the better emotions when we're sharing a concept, a command, a principle or a rule. Josiah, thanks, Tilly. Thank you, Josiah. Soraya said hi. Hello, Soraya. Josiah, what is the right heart posture or motive to have when giving, especially when the temptation is to give just to feel better about myself, giving to homeless, charities, etc. So again, we don't choose that. We are what we are. But what we can do is to raise an awareness of what we are, what we do, and find out why we're doing it like that. And then we can address, if we can address the why, then we can have more clarity about ourselves. And then we can choose. Again, if we don't reflect on ourselves, we are on autopilot and we don't have free will and we just react. And so we don't choose. What we can do is to find out why do you believe that, so let me read your comment again. Why do you feel that you are giving just to feel better about yourself, giving to homeless, charities? But maybe even easier than that, just feel your body. If you feel that it comes from a place of love and wanting to help, then that's the good idea. But if you feel that you're doing this because you want to be a good person, then that's people pleasing. It's something that is born from trauma and neglect. We create a persona that is there to please everyone in order to feel safe. We don't do this because we want to make people happy. We do this because we want to soothe our nervous system. And so we're going to do things, everything that we, and this is a different conversation, but it's something else that I realized lately. Everything that we do is designed to soothe our nervous system. And that explains pretty much everyone's behavior. It's so very simple. But this is an example. When we are doing certain things to make others happy, we don't realize that for many of us, we don't care about them. It's not because it makes us happy. It's because it makes us safe. Because again, trauma, neglect, we have developed that version of ourselves that believes that I can only be seen and accepted and loved if I behave in such ways. Otherwise, I won't feel safe. I won't be loved. I won't be seen. I won't matter. I won't be relevant. And so if you realize that you may be doing some things to feel better about yourself, that may be it. So it's still a nice thing to do, but you want to address your own baggage. You want to realize, now I don't want to do this because I want to feel safe. I want to do this because I genuinely care about them. So instead of thinking about you, think about them. That's one thing that you can try. Instead of thinking, I want to do this to make myself feel better. Think about, I want to give to charities because I'm imagining those people, they're suffering so much and I really would love to help them. And it makes me feel happy to help them. I felt that I'm doing my best and I've done my best by doing that. So that's a different way to look at it. Nothing that we do is inherently good or wrong. It all depends on the energy that is driving that action. And the energy is the emotion that we feel when we're doing that thing. So you can change this by, again, changing the point of focus. Instead of focusing on self, focus on them, those people, those charities, those animals, or whatever that you want to support. And that will remind you that it feels good to give. It feels good to help. It feels good to support others who needs to be helped. Does it help? Josiah? Paul, where is the best place to get a happy ending? Come on, I know you know. You silly Paul. This is a place that I create for mental health, so please be kind. I understand that it's okay, it's nice to be funny, and I enjoy humor a lot, but there's a place and a time for everything, and this is not it. I'm here to talk about mental health and therapy and psychology, so please, if you have anything you want to talk about, I would love to talk about it for you. If not, please, don't do this. Nimra, thank you for your words, sending love from Pakistan. Oh, wow. Thank you, Nimra from Pakistan. Is there anything you would like to ask me about yourself? I don't know how long I'm going to stay. It all depends on the attraction with you guys. I never do it in the morning, but I have some time this morning. So if you have anything you'd like to ask me, please do ask me. Nimra Tanver. Someone very close to me got diagnosed with blood cancer today. She's an older lady. How can I talk to her? You can talk to her with realizing that it's hard to have such news. So she may be in all sorts of situations, and we tend to project, we tend to believe that if that happened to me, I would behave like that. You don't want to do this. Just be there for her, listen to her. Don't try to give her advice. That's the main thing. Don't try to change her. Don't try to say, oh, you should do this, you should do that, because you don't know what she is going through. So my advice would be there for her, and instead of trying to talk to her, listen to her. Just be there. Listen to her and pay attention to how she feels. Pay attention to her body language. And just be there for her, like literally. We try to fix things, to want to fix things for others, because we are projecting our own discomfort in the face of that situation. And so the more we do this, the more we are essentially ignoring the person. We're just dealing with our own projection, our own fears, our own projected insecurities. So, in other words, if we want to fix someone with cancer, that would be because we are scared of having cancer, and if it happened to me, I would do that. So now we're projecting that, and we think that we are being helpful and kind, but we're not, because we are totally ignoring the feelings of that person. They could be in total state of distress. They could be in very different places. We're all different. And that's why it's so important to just sit down and say, oh, I'm sorry that you're going through that. What can I do for you? Do you want a cup of tea? Let's talk. Do you want to have a chat about anything at all? Be there for them. Don't judge. Don't try to change. Don't try to fix. And take it one moment at a time. But pay attention to how they feel. They want to be seen. They want to be heard. The first support that people have is emotional. Now there's something that you can ask. There's the 3 H questions. Do you want to be heard? Do you want a hug? Or do you want some help? Ask them that. H. Heard, hug, or helped. When you ask that, now it's clear. They can tell you, oh, I need some help. Or maybe I just want a hug. Or maybe I just want to be heard. Very often, it starts with the first one, anyway. I hope it helps. Nimra, thank you for your advice. I will listen. All right, thank you. Katarina, how to find a purpose in life? Okay, very good question. A very big question for so many of us. And so you don't need to find a purpose. Your purpose will find you when you're ready for it. What you want to realize is that purpose, and we all believe that, is not a thing that we must find. It's not one label, one badge of honor, one something that we must have. Or your whole life is a purpose in itself. Your purpose in life is to experience your human adventure. And so everything within it is part of your purpose. Having said that, there are things within your human adventure that are going to be driving you in a direction. And this is the purpose that people think about when they talk about the word purpose. And so my suggestion to you is to not think about seeking a purpose. Because if you seek a purpose, you'll be having some sort of tunnel vision without really knowing where to aim that tunnel vision. Instead, explore your purpose. Discover your purpose. Go through your life and do all sort of things whilst listening to your body. Listen to your emotions, your feelings, listen to your intuition, and follow your intuition. Your emotions, your feelings, and your intuition will lead you in different ways. So basically, go where it feels good to go. Go where it's exciting. Go where you feel positively stimulated, uplifted. And so follow your body. And the more you do this, the more you'll be going in a certain direction, trying different things, and the more you will go towards something that will make sense over time, and you will realize, this is what I do, this is what I love, this is what comes naturally to me, this is what I would love to do forever, but I'm obsessed about, this is your purpose. But you don't need to think about it. Open yourself to it, explore your life, discover your purpose instead of trying to find it. I hope it makes sense. There's not one purpose. Your purpose can also evolve and change all throughout your life. And so very often we think, I'm at the university, which direction am I going to go? Which career should I choose? Because we have the pressure. If I choose the wrong one, I'm doomed for life. So there's a lot of pressure. This is wrong because we all learn, we all change, we all grow all the time. So we never really know. Some of us have an idea, it's true. Some of us, even very young, we know exactly what we want. I want to be an artist. I want to be a fireman. I want to be the president of the United States or whatever. We have an idea of what we want. But for the vast majority of us, we discover who we are anyway. We don't know who we are. We come into this existence to find out who we are as a person, as a human being, as self. So how can we know about our purpose? We find out about our purpose as we find out more about who we are, what tick us our boxes, makes us happy, what doesn't make us happy. And then by trial, by process of elimination and test and trials, we find out more about the sort of things that we like, and within that zone lies our purpose. And so our purpose doesn't have to be a specific job description. It can be something that is transferable to many aspects of our life. It can be a way of being, an attitude. It can be so many things. And so don't overthink it. As long as you're aware that you're in this life for something bigger than what you are living, that's all that matters. Because now you're going to open your mind to more. And whatever more happens is going to be positive anyway. Yeah. Does it help? Katarina? Nimra, thank you. I needed this today. Have a great day. Take care. Thank you so much, Nimra. Have a great day yourself. And all the best to your friend who's had cancer. Omnam, could you explain string theory and navigating through different dimensions, like, for example, when you change your mindset or take certain choices? So I'm not sure that I can explain string theories. This is a bit out of my scope of practice. But I can talk about some of the things that you mentioned, and I hope that it will be close enough for you. So let me read this again. Could you explain string theory and navigating through the different dimensions, like, for example, when you change your mindset of or take certain choices? I'm trying to get myself into your mind. So let me first read the definition of string theory. In physics, string theory is a theoretical framework in which the point-like particles of particle physics are replaced by one-dimensional object called strings. So this is too deep for me. But I've watched many things about it, and I've got an idea about how to transfer it into that conversation. I think what you're saying is that when we change our mindset, we're changing ourselves, we're changing our reality, right? So in that, in that sense, from that perspective, this is what happens. Your reality is a projection of who you are. Basically, everything that you experience is a projection of what you believe, what you feel, how you think. And this is literally shaping your reality one moment at a time. And this is happening at a very, very, it's not just psychological, it's been demonstrated at so many different levels. We create a reality. There's no such thing as one true, omnipotent, universal truth and reality. We just have our own experience and version and interpretation of it based on XYZ. And so what is the XYZ? One of them is our heart set and our mindset. So how we think and how we feel. And so by changing how we feel about ourselves and what we think of ourselves, we are also changing our very reality around us. So in that sense, this is how we're going to apply those principles of string theory or quantum physics into psychology, into spirituality, into philosophy. But essentially, but to make it simple, the way you think about yourself and the way you feel about yourself is all that you need to upgrade and change and alter if you want to address any aspect of your life. We think about us being here and life is there. And we try to change the things there. But as long as we're the same person, the things that we're going to address, if they're difficult, they're still going to be difficult. We may overcome them after a little while through a process of pushing. But one better way to deal with that would be to change who we are. Instead of being the self who struggles with that thing and needs some time to overcome it, if you could become the person for whom it's easy to do that thing, now it's much easier because whenever those things will happen, all those things will be just as easy. Because we have become that person. And so, I don't know if that answered your question, but I hope it did in some ways. Tell me what you think about it, Omnam. C. Harris, your mannerisms are so soothing and confident building. Oh, thank you so much. Your energy is beautiful. Thank you very much. I'm glad. I appreciate that comment very much. C. Harris, thank you. Josiah, is purpose more about what we want to do or more about what the world needs from us, or both, or none of us? It depends. Everything is relative and contextual. But the way that I see it, your purpose in life is what you were meant to live in this life. So it's got nothing to do with your want. It's got nothing to do with what the world needs. It's more to do with your destiny, with what you have chosen when you were a soul, before you came into this life, what sort of life you wanted to experience in this realm of existence. Now, having said that, we can also find out that the purpose indeed will benefit the world. Because if we are our true self, if we are our authentic self, if we are doing the things that we're meant to do, now we are fitting perfectly in the universe. We are completing our job as far as the universe is concerned. We're doing the right thing by being us. If we're trying to be someone else, now we are basically living the universe without something and with something else too much of. We are creating some sort of imbalance. And so that will benefit the universe when we are living our life, when we are becoming who we are meant to be. And what we want to do would also fall into that eventually, because we have an energy, an inner being that is telling us things all the time, that is creating some emotions for us. And so when we do something that feels good, then the feeling good is an indication that we're going in the right direction. And so now back to what I was saying, it's an actual yes to all of your thing. The purpose is first to do with your reason of existing in the universe, not from the ego perspective, not from the human perspective, from the universe's perspective. Right? Everything has a function in place and time as far as the universe is concerned. To us, it looks like chaos because we don't have the brain to be able to comprehend that, and we will never, because we are just one drop in an ocean. But the ocean knows. And so the purpose is about what we're meant to be doing in regards to the big picture. But also, it is also something that is good for us because it makes us feel good. The feeling good is telling us that we are energetically aligned with our purpose. Being creative, expressing love. So when we love doing something, what we do, and there's a lot of creativity happening, we are elevating our vibrational frequency to the utmost. and yes, and the world would benefit from that, in for sure. So yes, yes, yes. To your question, Josiah, and thank you for the little heart. C. Harris said hi. Hello. Omnom at C. Harris. I agree. Katarina, yes, that's brilliant. Thank you, Didi. Thank you, Katarina. C. Harris, string theory is very deep. Yes, it is. You have to be a physicist to understand those things. But I like to borrow some principle of this to apply into, again, spirituality, philosophy, and psychology. And many of us do that. Omnom, I totally get what you mean. And I also know stuff about string theory. Just I was talking with a friend about it and I got really confused. Okay, so I hope that what I said kind of went into what you were seeking when you asked me that question, was it? LXRT temptation. Wow, okay, I'm going to call you temptation. Omnom, it was really deep talk, okay? I hope you get something out of it. Omnom, thanks, thank you. Temptation, this is awesome, man. I'm glad you appreciate. Thank you, temptation. Omnom. Another question is, how would you explain having a trait of wanting to love people? Everyone wants to be loved, but loving someone specifically. We want both, but it depends on who we are, where we are, what burden, baggage we have. But it's true that the first thing that we want is to be loved, because as a child, being loved means being safe. But then the next level of it is when we want to love, because we realize that loving, being able to love, is more powerful than being loved. Being loved is something that we receive and it makes us feel safe. Being able to love is being able to give, to protect. So we are in a different place here. Now, obviously, it goes together. But if we can really realize that the love that we want to get, we still want that love desperately, because we have not got to that level where we can give the love. If we get to the place where we can give love because we are feeling safe, we have healed from our trauma, and we have now a better understanding of ourselves, what it means is that if I can give love to others, I can give love to myself. And that's when we don't need love from others anymore. We will still appreciate it, we want it, but we don't need it. We're no longer desperate for it. So what's the difference between wanting to be loved and being able to love? So now with that in mind, let me read your question again and see if I can do something with this. Another question is, how would you explain having a trait of wanting to love people? Everyone wants to be loved, but loving someone specifically. Okay, so I hope that I answered that. The ability to love someone comes when we have enough love to give out. But if we have suffered from abandonment, abuse, or any of those things, then we won't have this in us. We still need, we will still, we feel unsafe. And so our priority is to survive, to be at safety, and to then feel loved. And many of us, we may think that we're loving them when we're in that situation, and we're not. There's a lot of cognitive dissonance happening. I hope it clarifies it a little bit. Does it? Omnom? Temptation. I'm more concerned how I move between string IG. I don't know what is string IG. What is strings IG? Josiah, how can someone be afraid of success, and what does that fear looks like in real life? More importantly, how can a person overcome it and finish what they start? Okay, so the fear of success is a real thing. It's not the same thing as the fear of failure. The fear of failure is the fear of rejection if you are not good enough. The fear of success is the fear of being hurt by the success. So basically what it means is that if you believe that the good things in life are not available to you because you never had those things when you were a child, then you will be fearful of success. Success seems good, but if I have it because I've never had it, I may get hurt by it. Or maybe when you're a child, if you had success and success came with hurt, then there's a part of your mind that will protect you against success because it doesn't want you to get hurt again. And so that's the fear of success. There's a fear that is very similar to the fear of success, that would be the fear of intimacy. We want to be intimate, we want love, we want to be loved. But if we have been traumatized in childhood, if the definition that we have of love is not nice, is not, it comes with hurt, then the fear of intimacy will get us to sabotage our attempts at intimacy or love in any which way. And it's the same thing with the fear of success. When we have a fear of success, we suffer from self-sabotage. We are basically going to put some sticks into our own wheels to prevent us to succeed. Because we don't know how to deal with that success, and also maybe because we are scared of what may come with the success. How can we overcome that? You say, how can someone overcome and finish what they have started? So when you say that, it doesn't necessarily mean the fear of success. You could have a fear of failure. When people are not able to finish what they have started, it could be because they don't want to risk not succeeding and being rejected. So that'll be the fear of failure more than the fear of success. But anyway, regardless of whichever it is, it doesn't really matter. We address it in the same way. Whether you have a fear of failure or a fear of success, you want to realize that those systems are there to protect you. And let me try and think about it, if there's some difference between both in order to how we address it. The system that will work for both anyway is to realize that that system is a bottleneck system. It wants to protect you and you're overwhelmed. The one thing that aggravates our fear of success and our fear of failure would be stress and anxiety. So what you can do, because when you have the fear of success or the fear of failure, you are thinking about the future. I'm doing this in regards to that in the future. And it is that projection that is creating that stress and that anxiety that I'm talking about. And so by being present, by being mindful, by being here, now, focused on that baby step that you're doing, that's the solution. You are finding it difficult to move on, either because of the fear of failure or success, because you're looking at it from where you are. And that visual is creating a lot of pressure and stress and tension. And that is getting to create that bottleneck effect. That gridlock is going to protect you from going there because there's too much for you to deal with. And so, breathe, create a plan with baby steps, and just focus on baby steps without thinking about the outcomes, without looking at what you want to achieve. Just focus on baby steps and practice mindfulness and breathing, and that will help you eventually get there and have it. And once you get there and you have it, you realize, now it's happening. No, I realized what it was. This is what we do for the fear of failure. When it comes to the fear of success, it's a whole different thing. The fear of success is when you get to that point, and now people are going to sabotage what we have. And so, for instance, back to the intimacy, someone may have a fear of love and be with someone, and then they have that relationship. But now they're going to find something to break up, to ruin the relationship. So I think at this point in time, the way that we see it is that the fear of failure is more about something that happens before, and the fear of success is more prominent after it has happened. I hope it makes sense. And so, for the fear of failure, focus on the baby steps and on the now. For the fear of success, therapy, hypnosis, hypnotherapy, or self-work, addressing the reasons as to why you have that block against success. Some people can have those things with money, for instance. They have a terrible relationship with money. They make a lot of money, but then they get rid of the money because they can't stand it. So there's a lot of different ways we can look at that thing. But do you believe that you have a fear of success or a fear of failure, Josiah, based on everything that I said? I believe that it's a fear of failure. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. If it was a fear of success, I would address the belief that you have about success, because otherwise you will get there, but you may actually sabotage what you have managed to create. I hope it makes sense. Omnum, I am assuming IG, I guess. Very good, thank you. So let me read that comment again. Okay, now I'll come back again, I'm sure. Temptation, there's a system, all right? Okay, the system for what? Are you talking about the system that I described? Soul Rebel 999, you sound extremely high IQ. All right, thank you. I assume it's a compliment. Even though for me, IQ is not such a big deal. For me, emotional intelligence is actually more important than IQ. IQ is overrated. There's a lot of different type of intelligence, and it doesn't matter which one we have. We all have one, and it's an intelligence that we need to help us be better at what we do. But IQ generally is about mathematics, logic, and there's also literature. Kind of those are the top form of intelligence that people really value. But for the vast majority of us, we don't need that. But a lot of people believe that those who have a higher IQ are superior. They're not. They just have that quality. We all have some qualities and some things that we are not so strong at, and it's okay. But thank you for the compliment, nevertheless. I assume that it's a compliment. So, Rebel, thank you for helping out each other. Thank you. Team humanity. Yes, indeed, absolutely. Omnum, you can't lose something you don't have. That's true. Omnum, if you never get it, you have nothing to lose. When you do have it, you risk losing it eventually. So this is only if you have attachment. It's true. But at the same time, we don't want to think like that. So this is precisely one of the things that I teach. There's a concept called attachment or non-attachment. And so basically, we believe that what is important is that thing. So we're attached to that thing. So if I don't have it, I don't care. Once I have it, I'm scared of losing it. But that's because we're looking in the wrong place. That's why everyone suffers. You're looking at that thing. And so if you attach your happiness on that thing or that person, the moment that person or that thing is gone, so will your happiness. So how do we deal with that? We practice non-attachment. We realize that nothing lasts forever. And what matters is not the thing, not the person, but the experience, the feeling. If we can acknowledge that what matters is that experience and it's going to be fleeting, it's going to be ending at some point, for sure. It may be a long time, it may be short time, it doesn't matter. It will not last. Then, now we focus solely on the experience. And when it's gone, it's okay. We're still grateful because we have experienced that experience, because we have felt that feeling. But it leads us to something else. A big conversation I've had in my mind lately is that everything that matters to us is feelings. We don't care about things. We don't care about people. We care about how we feel about the things, how we feel about the people. And so if we attach ourselves to the people or the things, when they're gone, our happiness is gone. If we realize that we have felt it, but not only we have felt it, but also we can feel it at any time again, even if we don't have it anymore. Because we don't need the person or the thing to be there to feel it. Once we have experienced one feeling, we can experience that feeling again, anytime, through meditation, through looking inward. It is absolutely possible. And so feelings are all that matter. We don't care, for instance, about money. We care about how we feel when we have money because we're feeling safe. We can pay our debts, we can pay our bills. Or maybe we feel happy because we're feeling free. I can do things. Or maybe we're feeling grateful because we can give that money to help others. And so it's never about the money, it's about the feeling that we have about it. And it's the same thing with everything. And with people, it's the same. People don't care about people. People care about the feeling that they have when they are with them, what they think about them, when they're doing things together with them. It's not about the people, it's about the feelings. Because sometimes you get to know someone, and after a while they change, or you change, or something change, and you don't like them anymore. And you divorce. That person is still a person, but the feeling is not there anymore. So it was always about the feeling. And so if you attach yourself to things and people, you will suffer. And this is a principle from Eastern philosophies, Buddhism, Taoism. Let go of attachment. Enjoy the experience, absorb it. Realize that you are growing as a human being, as a person. You are learning, you are becoming more through each experience. So you never lose anything. You're always growing, you're always becoming more. And if you feel something and you want to feel it again, it's there. All your experiences exist there. So just close your eyes. Let's say, if I miss my dog who left us, our last dogs who left us in a few months ago, I'm going to think about him, and I'm going to be happy again. I can feel him. I can see him. I can see him licking my face. I can feel his warmth, and I'm happy. I've got the same feeling again in that moment. Hope it makes sense. And it's the same thing with everything else. Yeah, I can go on. I think I'm going to do a long video at some point about this. So, Omnam, does it make sense? What do you think about this? Natalie C. Yeah, how do you prevent self-sabotage? Do baby steps make sense with this, perhaps? So self-sabotage, so there are different different phases of the situation when you want to create something for yourself. So the baby steps is where we create the thing. But then also, as I was saying, if you have a real fear of success, then you want to address this, because you may get what you want, but then you may get rid of it. And so this is so you want to find out what is the belief that you have, what is the association that is negative that you have created with that thing, and then upgrade that. So you can do this through hypnosis, hypnotherapy. You can do this through meditation over a long period of time. You can do it through a lot of different protocols. It's for you to find out what works best for you. If you want, we can talk about this, but I will need to have more details about you specifically to give you any suggestions. Josiah, how do you overcome a fear of success in relationships, especially when you subconsciously sabotage them by choosing people with issues or fixating on flaws in otherwise great partners? So it's not a fear of success in relationship. It's the fear of intimacy. It's the fear of love that I was mentioning. It's a different word, and it's important because a relationship is not about success. You don't go in a relationship to be successful. You go in a relationship to feel good and to create something together and to heal together and to grow together. So it's more like a journey, right? It's not an outcome. It is a journey. That's what I was trying to say. And so I think we want to rephrase it. How do you overcome the fear of love, the fear of relationship, the fear of being in a happy relationship? By addressing your trauma, by addressing the way you see yourself in relation to love. If you keep on attracting people who are difficult, who have issues, who are not long-term material partners, then, as you say, you know that that's because your subconscious mind chooses people who are not available because it believes that love is not available to you, and so it's protecting you away from it by choosing people who will never give you the risk of being loved in a long, happy, stable relationship. So you want to address the reasons as to why you have that thing. You don't overcome something by adding more things. You overcome something by letting go of what is holding you back. And so in your case, what is holding you back is some belief about yourself. Why do you believe that love is not available to you? What is your mind trying to protect you from when it comes to relationships? And the subconsciously sabotaging aspect, if this is what we all do, when we have indeed such a situation, we will self-sabotage, and it's all happening at the subconscious level. So for me, in order to help you out, I need to know more about you. If you want to tell me more, I would love to do that. If not, we can still talk about it at a general level. But there's only so much that I could tell you then, just so you know. To overcome a fear of love and intimacy and happiness in a relationship, we must address the belief that we have about ourselves. Why do I believe that I am not lovable? Temptation. How do you overcome the fear of evil? And there's some laughing faces emojis. So I'm not sure if you're serious, but I'm going to take it as a serious question. And hopefully some people will make something out of it. And if you are serious, then you will too as well. Despite the laughing faces emojis. You realize that there's no such thing as evil. You realize that evil is an invention that was created by some people, religious people a long time ago, to control and manipulate people through fear. So they invented evil. Now, I'm talking about religious evil, superstitions, demons, stuff like that. Having said that, there is a version of human evil. Human evil exists. There are evil people in this world. And how do we deal with them? By realizing that there's only one reason that they're behaving in evil way. First, they're not evil as people. There are people who have some belief that get them to behave in ways that are evil. No one is born evil. No one cannot change. We are whichever we are. What is evil is our actions or words, is what we do, what we say, or what we allow to happen. And so, what makes evil in this world? Just one thing: dehumanization. If we're able to dehumanize a people, a group of people, or an individual, in that moment, we can do anything to them. We can hurt them, we can destroy them, we can do anything to them. And that's what is happening in the Middle East at the moment. A lot of people have been conditioned through fear, through propaganda, through conditioning, to believe that some people were lesser than them, were inferior human beings. And so they have been able to dehumanize them. And because of that, they are evil to these people. And also because we live in a community that is international and global, they need to kind of back up of actions. So now they're spreading propaganda and basically telling everyone that those people are bad. And so typically through Hollywood, through movies, through news, everyone is going to be conditioned over decades and decades to believe that Arabs are all terrorists. Muslims are all bad people. They must all be destroyed. This is conditioned. This is Hollywood for you. This is the news. This is everyone who is under the thumb of people who are in power, sadly. Too many of them. And because of that, there's the situation in Palestine, in Gaza, in the Middle East. And so some people are evil, absolutely, but they're evil because they've been conditioned to be evil. If they will be given a chance to see something else, some of them could change and realize, what am I doing? This is wrong. And it's the same thing that happened with all the major catastrophe, Holocaust, genocides in history. Think about World War II, it's exactly the same. And all the other ones. And so the one common denominator is the ability to dehumanize someone, us versus them. And so the way we fix this, the antidote, the cure to that, is to teach everyone that it's not like that. And hopefully there will be enough people who understand that, so that those who believe the evil belief start to shift. And that's how we change the world. That's it. What do you say about this, guys? Natalie C. Okay, thanks. Okay, Natalie, thank you. That was good. I'm starting to understand that. Fantastic. Thank you, And I also do similarly, like you said, with the example with your dog. Okay, very good. Good on you. Good on you. I'm going to have a sip of coffee. Let me check on YouTube if I'm there. I should. I am, with a little delay. Okay, guys, do you have any more questions? If not, maybe I could go. I'm happy to come back later on today, because I did a TikTok, I think last night, and I told everyone to come on YouTube. It was not last night, it was lunchtime. And I told everyone to come on YouTube at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And so I feel that I should be doing a live at 4 o'clock as well, to make sure that if they want to ask me about something, I'm there. I think we wanted to talk about OCD, very specifically. DE, hi from New Zealand. Hello, DE. Josiah, at Temptation, did you expect such depth? I take any opportunity to start a conversation, but I try to make it as interesting as possible. You know, guys, I think I'm going to go now. I'm going to come back. I'm going to do my best to come back at 4 o'clock today, this Saturday, UK time, 4 o'clock. So if you hang around, if you happen to be around, still awake, wherever you are in the world, do come back at 4 o'clock, and I would love to continue the conversation with you. I believe that there's someone that would like me to talk about OCD. So if you have interest in that, that'll be probably the theme of the live. In the meantime, I'm going to wish you a fantastic day or night, wherever you are in the world. Remember that I exist both on YouTube and TikTok. I do live on both platforms, and I share content on both. At the moment, only short videos, but hopefully soon I will be resuming my long content on YouTube. I haven't done it for 3 years. Forget about the old ones, they are very cringy. But I have got a lot of new content that I really want to invest time doing. So hopefully within the next month that will happen. Just keep in touch, and so subscribe, please, if you enjoy this. And if you need any more details about me as a therapist and coach, there's also a link to my website. And all you have to do is to send me an email to organize a free discovery call, and we can decide whether or not we can work together or not. Okay, so DE, I've been learning from your shorts. Thank you so much, D. Josiah, thanks. Fido, thanks, Didi. Thank you, bye, Didi. DE, Omnom, thanks, Didi. Have a nice time as well. Bye. Okay, guys, I love you all. Take care. Remember to be kind to others if you can. But if you can't, at least be kind to yourself. All right?